Ladies and gents, welcome back to a brand new video. Now, today we are talking about the Samsung Note 9 and why potentially you may want to swerve it. Two main reasons. Let's get straight to it. Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Now, the Samsung Note 9 will be released, or launched at least, on August the 9th at the Unpacked event. Note 9, 9th of August. You dig? You dig. It makes sense. Now, straight away, this isn't a bashing session on the Note 9, but this is my honest opinion, and this is one that I think some of you guys that might be looking to buy it might want to know. Is it going to be one of the best phones in 2018? Absolutely. But here are the two main reasons why I think you might want to swerve it. Number one, the Note 9 will be an incremental update from the Note 8. We saw this with the S line, the Samsung S7? The Samsung S9 was an incremental update from the S8. And we've known for a while now that the 9th year, whatever you want to call it, it's kind of been a bit of a transitional period in waiting for the 10th year anniversary, when we know, or we're led to believe anyway, that it's going to be a massive year for Samsung. We saw with the iPhone 10, it was a massive change from what they did previously. Some liked it, some hated it, but nevertheless, it was a complete change from what we had seen before. Samsung are going to do very much the same thing. So they are going to be producing the Samsung X or 10, whatever you want to call it. Don't get the tech world started on that again, but we'll get to that shortly. So first, we're going to look at some of the main features that we're going to see with the Samsung Note 9. The main attraction is, of course, going to be the S Pen, which is going to be different from the S line. But even more so this year, so much attention has been placed on this pen. From all accounts, we are going to see a dedicated button, which is going to utilize Bluetooth from the pen to the phone. So apparently you're going to be able to take photos with the pen. You're going to be able to control your music and start and stop calls, etc. So it is going to be a pretty decent feature that the Samsung S9 doesn't have and other smartphones don't have currently at this moment in time. Now, this focus on the S Pen was kind of unveiled with the FCC filing, and although the filings tend to leave a lot to the imagination, it does give you a rough idea, and it also included the Galaxy Tab S4, which would make sense because it's been a while since the S3. If history serves us any kind of clue, we should see a very similar phone in terms of specs from the Samsung S9, like we did with the S8 to the Note 8. So we're going to see a Snapdragon 845 processor in the US version, and in the international rest of the world version, we're going to see the in-house Exynos 9810 chipset. In terms of RAM, we're likely to see the exact same 6GB that we saw on the Note 8 and the S9 Plus. A few rumours have suggested there will be an 8GB version, but we believe that might be location specific. Another feature is the display. It's going to be apparently brighter than what we saw on the Note 8, which was already a whopping over 1200 nits. And that is a very special display, still one of the best on the market at the moment. Also, according to a lot of reports, we are going to see a bigger battery than the Note 8, which played it very, very safe after the whole Note 7 debacle. We are going to see one that's 4000 mAh. And one thing that I know a lot of you guys will be a fan of is, of course, in terms of storage, we could see a potential 512GB variant. Outside of that, if we look back on history, the camera from the Note 8 from the S8 was pretty similar. It was the exact same main sensor. They just had a telephoto on that dual over the single that we saw on the S8. So we're probably going to see a similar sort of camera from the S9 Plus as an example, which, while it was a great camera, it was a big selling point of the S9. So if they were to go in and say that the Note 9 is now amazingly better, it would be a bit odd. So I think we will probably see a fairly similar camera on the Note 9. However, there is talks of an ISOCELL Plus camera sensor, which is better in low light and is more accurate. Fingerprint sensor is going to be below the camera, again like we've seen on the S9. From the Note 8, which was in that horrid, I know I say it every time, but it was a horrid location. There's no getting around it. Even the people that didn't mind it, you have to admit it could have been in a better place underneath the camera. They are going to do that, but of course, because we're likely to see the horizontal camera setup that we saw on the Note 8, when that's compared to the S9 Plus, which was vertical, the fingerprint sensor is going to be higher on the Note 9 from the S9 Plus. And on a large phone, I think that's going to be a bit of an issue for some people, because it is going to be a touch too high. See what I did there? Touch too high. The fingerprint sensor. No? So I know what you're thinking. Where's the first point? So the first point, in my opinion, is that if you already have the Note 8, for example, or if you have the S9 or the S9 Plus, are you getting that much more for that extra whole amount of money for that new device? In my opinion, no. So if you have the S9, for example, you're going to get the S Pen, a slightly better camera, the same Snapdragon 845 chipset, probably the same 6GB of RAM that we saw in the S9 Plus, same Quad HD display, same GPU, and if you have the Note 8 as an example, you're going to get pretty much the same display. It's going to be slightly larger, 6.38 inches we are led to believe, which is marginally bigger than the Note 8, but you probably won't know much of a difference. All the leaks and renders show a similar sort of design. Same amount of RAM again. And while the Snapdragon 845 is the latest chipset, the Note 8 had the 835, which is still currently on the market, a brilliant chipset. Right, so there's the first reason. Number two, and this is the main point of the video, the second reason why I believe you may want to swerve the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, and this is, in my opinion, probably the most important reason, and that's because, like we mentioned earlier, the Samsung Galaxy X or 10, the 10th anniversary year, starting in February, we are very likely to see massive changes from Samsung to produce two incredible smartphones next year. So first of all, we know that Samsung are still working on that flexible display that started in around 2011. Then in 2013, they partnered with U.S.A displays, showing off a fully bendable display. But this wasn't touchscreen, so there was still a lot of work to be done. All in all, they've been working on and off on this project, we believe, up until the expected launch 2019 with their 10th year anniversary. It was confirmed by the Samsung Mobile president earlier this year that we are going to see the Galaxy X in 2019, in which he also said it was going to be incorporated into the Note brand. Whether we do indeed see that with the S line as well, we don't know, but if we look back at history, it does serve us to believe that the similarities between the S and the Note lines, I would imagine a lot of the technology used in the X series or Note X or whatever, there's going to be too many names for this product, I know that, but some of those technologies probably will shift to the S as well. Here are some of the other reasons why the Galaxy X line in 2019 is definitely going to be one to look at, and that's the fact that we believe the in-display fingerprint sensor will finally be ready for a Samsung device. Now, up till now, they've swerved on the fingerprint sensor in the display because in their opinion, they don't feel the technology is quite ready and quite secure enough. Some of the other devices that have used it don't have as much to lose as a Samsung or an Apple if security becomes an issue. And the reason why they're going to be able to make it more secure is because they're not going to use the same technology that has been used in the Vivo phones, for example, and a lot of the work that's gone into it with Synaptics. And an article in ET News actually confirmed that Samsung were working with Qualcomm to produce an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor in the display on the Galaxy X. And how this apparently works is a transmitter under the display which fires out waves to the top of the display which hits your finger or your thumb, and depending on how the waves are then returned, it will then depict a 3D image of your individual finger or your thumb. And of course, a 3D image is going to be a lot more secure than a 2D image that we currently see with the other current in-display fingerprint sensors. We've seen the same with Face ID. Companies like Apple and Xiaomi, who have produced 3D facial recognition, have proved that it is far more secure than 2D, which can be fooled with photographs and things like that. Also, we believe they are going to be producing a form of technology where the sound that would usually come from an earpiece, for example, can resonate through the display, using a motorized system underneath to vibrate that screen. Now, we've seen Xiaomi do a similar thing with the Mi Mix, the first original one that came out in 2016, I believe, which did have its own problems, but Samsung may be able to address these sort of issues that they may have with this form of technology in order to make it a better experience. By doing this, a whopping 93% screen to body ratio. Outside of this, a few distant rumours, and take these definitely with a pinch of salt. 5G could be included in the Galaxy X, and LPDDR5 Ram. So basically what I'm trying to say to you is, will the Note 9 be a great phone? Yes, no doubt. It's going to be one of the best flagship phones of 2018. But it's going to be an incremental update. But if you already have a Samsung phone within the last year, it may not, in my opinion, be worth shelling out all of that money on a new device. And more importantly, some people will, of course, upgrade their phone every year. Some people every week, but the majority of the consumers will change their phone every 2 to 3 years. So if you can just wait that little bit longer, the 10th year anniversary for Samsung is going to be a massive one, and you may feel that you've jumped the gun that little bit too early, got the Note 9, when if you continued using the phone you've got now for another 6 months or a year, you may then have a real game-changing device. As always, these are just my opinions. You're more than welcome to agree or disagree and let me know in the comment section below what you think. Like this video if you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Dislike this video if you didn't like it, didn't find it helpful. Follow my Twitter and Instagram if you are interested in all things tech outside of YouTube. Make sure if you want to be updated every time I post a video on anything Samsung, smartphones in general, tech in general, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that when I post a video, you are notified. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. Say SBYT, peace out.